Have you ever noticed how aging doesn't begin with your face, but with your legs? It's not the wrinkles that first betray time. It's that slow heaviness when you climb the stairs, that dull ache after a short walk, that restless tingling at night when your feet just won't get warm. Most people call it getting older. But I've come to believe it's something deeper, a quiet message from the body whispering, "Help me flow again." For over 3 decades as a physician, I've listened to those whispers in my patients, and I've learned that the answer rarely comes from a prescription bottle. It comes from nature, from the very colors life was painted with. Think about it. Why does a cherry burn red like fire? Why does a blueberry carry the calm of twilight? Why does a papaya glow like the sunrise? Nature never chooses color by accident. Each hue hides a purpose, a molecule, a signal, a medicine. What scientists call phytonutrients, I simply call color wisdom. Today, I want to show you how these colors can restore something you thought was lost. Strength in your legs, warmth in your feet, confidence in your step. It's a simple idea I call the Rainbow Protocol, a way of eating that helps your arteries heal from the inside out. You don't need complicated diets or miracle pills. Just the courage to trust the wisdom that's already on your plate. Because the truth is, a colorful plate isn't just beautiful, it's alive. And if you listen closely, it just might teach your body how to feel alive again too. If you could see inside your arteries, you'd be amazed. They're not just silent pipes. They're living rivers, carrying warmth and life to every inch of you. But with time, those rivers begin to slow. The walls lose their strength, their flexibility, and one day you feel it in your legs. We begin our healing journey with the color red, the color of vitality, of life itself. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Margaret. She was 68, graceful and kind, but always tired. "My legs feel heavy," she told me. "By evening they ache like they're carrying 100 pounds. Her veins had begun to bulge, swollen, angry, visible through the skin. Instead of new medication, I gave her something different, a prescription from nature. Every morning, a handful of fresh strawberries with breakfast. In the afternoon, a small glass of tart cherry juice. And a few times a week, pomegranate seeds sprinkled over her salad, tiny jewels of healing. 3 months later, she returned, smiling, lighter. "Doctor," she said, "my legs don't hurt anymore. Even the veins look calmer." What happened wasn't magic. It was anthocyanins, the deep red pigments inside those fruits. They're nature's own anti-inflammatory warriors. They protect the collagen in your blood vessels, the same protein that keeps your veins strong and elastic. Red fruits don't just color your plate. They shield your arteries, strengthen their walls, and calm the silent inflammation that weakens them with age. So when you reach for a cherry or slice into a ruby strawberry, remember, you're not just eating fruit. You're feeding the strength of your own life's river. When you look at a strawberry, you might see sweetness. When you look at a cherry, you might think of summer. But inside that color, that deep glowing red, there's something extraordinary happening. Science has a name for it, anthocyanins. They're the pigments that give red fruits their color, but to your arteries, they're far more than decoration. They are guardians. You see, every day your blood vessels face tiny insults, from stress, poor diet, even pollution. Over time, this causes invisible inflammation, like rust slowly forming inside a pipe. That's when you begin to feel the signs: aching legs, swelling, fatigue. Anthocyanins move through your bloodstream like quiet healers. They calm inflammation and shield your vessel walls from damage. But their most beautiful gift is what they do for collagen, the very fabric that holds your veins together. Collagen is what keeps your vessels flexible, strong, and smooth. Yet, as we age, it starts to break down. Red fruits, through these powerful antioxidants, help protect that collagen, keeping your blood vessels young and resilient. Think of it this way. Strawberries are like gentle armor for your veins. Cherries, rich in melatonin, help your blood pressure find its rhythm again. And pomegranate, that royal red fruit, nourishes your entire cardiovascular system with punicic acid, one of nature's most potent protectors. When I tell my patients this, their faces light up. It's not just because they understand the science. It's because they finally realize healing doesn't have to taste like medicine. Sometimes healing tastes like a handful of cherries on a summer evening. And sometimes it begins with the courage to make your plate a little more red. If red gives your arteries protection, orange gives them renewal. It's the color of the sunrise, soft, hopeful, promising another chance. And in your body, that's exactly what orange fruits do. They help your arteries begin again. Let me tell you about James, one of my favorite patients. He was 67, retired, proud of his garden, but lately something felt off. His doctor had told him, "Your arteries are getting stiff." No major blockages yet, just early signs of hardening, the kind that silently steals flexibility from your blood flow. Instead of another supplement, I asked him to try something simpler, a morning ritual straight from nature. Each day, a few slices of ripe papaya at breakfast, and in the afternoon, one whole orange instead of a cookie. 6 months later, the results were remarkable. His tests showed better arterial flexibility, and he said, "Doc, I feel younger. Even my morning walks are easier." Here's why. Papaya carries an enzyme called papain, a gentle natural cleaner that helps break down inflammatory proteins and metabolic debris that clutter your arteries. And oranges contain hesperidin, a powerful compound hidden mostly in the white pith. It strengthens the inner lining of your arteries, the endothelium, and helps your vessels relax through nitric oxide, nature's own blood flow enhancer. Both fruits overflow with vitamin C, the cornerstone of collagen creation, the very material your vessels need to rebuild. So, while red protects what you already have, orange rebuilds what time has worn down. Together they form a perfect partnership, one to guard, one to renew. Because in the language of color, orange means this: every day your arteries can begin again. When I think of the color orange, I think of warmth, the gentle glow of evening light, the comfort of a new beginning. That's what orange fruits offer your arteries, a second chance to stay young. You see, your blood vessels aren't rigid like pipes. They're living tissue, flexible, responsive, always renewing themselves. But with age, that renewal slows. Calcium and fat sneak in, inflammation lingers, and the vessels start to lose their rhythm. That's where orange comes in. Papaya, with its natural enzyme papain, acts like a soft broom inside your bloodstream. It sweeps away leftover proteins and waste before they can harden into plaque. It's gentle, not harsh, the kind of cleaning only nature knows how to do. And the humble orange, hiding its real power not in the juice, but in that thin white layer we often peel away, the pith, holds hesperidin. This compound tells your arteries to relax, to let blood flow freely again. It also helps your endothelium, the delicate inner lining, produce more nitric oxide, the molecule of life that keeps your vessels supple and open. And then There's vitamin C, the unsung hero. You need it to build new collagen, to give your blood vessels structure and youth. Without it, even the strongest arteries begin to crack. So when you eat an orange, don't just sip the sweetness. Eat it whole, pulp, pith, all of it. And maybe squeeze a bit of lime over your papaya. It's not just delicious, it adds more healing enzymes and vitamin C. It's nature's way of saying, don't fight age, feed renewal. Because every cell in your body still remembers how to heal. It's just waiting for you to give it the colors it needs. If the color red gives your veins strength and orange helps them rebuild, then blue and green do something even more tender. They bring warmth back to where life feels cold. These are the colors of calm, the sky before dusk, the forest after rain. Inside your body, they reach the smallest rivers of all, the capillaries that feed your nerves, your skin, and the farthest corners of your being. I remember one of my patients, Rose, 72, a gentle woman who still loved to garden but could no longer feel the soil beneath her toes. "Doctor," she said, "my feet are always cold, even in July." She had to wear socks to bed just to fall asleep. I asked her to do something simple. No pills, no prescriptions, just color. Each morning, a handful of blueberries stirred into her yogurt. Each afternoon, one kiwi, bright and green like spring itself. A month later, she walked into my office with tears in her eyes. "Doctor," she whispered, "my feet feel alive again." Science gives us the reason. The deep blue of the blueberry carries anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that strengthen your smallest blood vessels, keeping them flexible and open so that life can reach even your toes. And the humble kiwi, rich in vitamin C and vitamin K, nourishes the collagen in those tiny vessel walls while gently thinning the blood so it flows like a calm river instead of a sluggish stream. Blue and green are nature's quiet healers, not loud, not flashy, but steady, faithful, patient. Because true healing doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's simply the moment you realize your feet are warm again. If you want to understand life, look at movement. When the rivers stop flowing, the land dries. When blood stops flowing, the body ages. That's why your microcirculation, the tiny vessels that feed your nerves, skin and muscles, is so sacred. It's the quiet miracle that keeps you warm, alert, and alive. And yet, it's the first thing time tries to take away. I've seen it so often, people who say, "My feet are cold," or "I feel pins and needles." They don't realize it's not their feet that are failing. It's the flow that's fading. Blue and green fruits can help bring that flow back. Blueberries, with their anthocyanins, protect the fragile walls of your capillaries, those microscopic vessels that carry oxygen to every cell. They make them more elastic, more responsive, less likely to leak or break. It's like strengthening the roots of a tree before the next storm. And then there's the kiwi, humble, underestimated. Inside it carries more vitamin C than an orange and a healthy dose of vitamin K. Together, these nutrients rebuild collagen, support smooth blood clotting, and help your capillaries stay open and clear. But beyond science, there's something more profound here. When you restore your circulation, you restore connection. The warmth returning to your toes isn't just blood. It's life reuniting with the parts of you it had forgotten. That's the quiet magic of this color. The blue of the sky, the green of new leaves, whispering to your body, you are still alive. You still flow. When you look at your plate, what do you see? Most people see food, calories, nutrients, maybe even rules. But I see something different. I see color, and each color tells a story of healing. The red fruits, strawberries, cherries, pomegranates, they protect your arteries, shielding them like loyal guards. The orange ones, papaya and oranges, rebuild what time has worn down, bringing softness back to stiff vessels. And the blue and green, blueberries and kiwi, awaken the smallest rivers of your body, bringing warmth and life back to your fingertips and toes. Each of these colors plays its own part, but together they form a perfect symphony. This is the heart of the Rainbow Protocol, not a diet, not a restriction, but a reunion with the wisdom of nature. Every day I tell my patients, if your plate looks beige and dull, your circulation will feel the same. Color is vitality. A colorful plate means your blood is alive, your arteries are flexible, your heart is grateful. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Just start small. A handful of blueberries in your morning oatmeal, a juicy orange as an afternoon snack, a few cherries after dinner, not as dessert, but as medicine wrapped in sweetness. When you do this daily, something subtle begins to change. Your legs feel lighter, your steps more confident. You start to trust your body again. Because the truth is, healing isn't hidden in laboratories. It's growing quietly on the branches of life itself. And all it asks of you is to bring the colors back to your plate. Healing doesn't come from sudden change. It grows from small, faithful habits. And one of the most powerful habits you can build is this: eat the rainbow every day. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but I've seen it transform lives. Think of your meals as a canvas. Each color you add is a brushstroke of life. Start your morning with the calm blue of blueberries stirred into warm oatmeal. Let lunch bring the brightness of orange, a few papaya slices or a juicy orange on the side. And at dinner, close your day with the deep red of cherries or strawberries, like a gentle sunset for your arteries. That's all it takes. You don't need expensive supplements or complex diets. You just need variety, because no single color can do it all. Each one speaks a different language of healing. Red protects, orange repairs, blue and green revive. Once or twice a week, make it fun. Create a rainbow fruit salad, slices of strawberry, orange segments, chunks of kiwi, and a handful of blueberries. Watch it shimmer with color, like medicine made beautiful. Over time, these small rituals do more than nourish your body. They lift your mood, brighten your meals, and remind you that caring for your health can be joyful, not stressful. A colorful plate isn't just food, it's a promise. A promise to stay curious, to stay grateful, to stay alive. Because every time you choose color, you're telling your body, I still believe in you. After so many years of practicing medicine, I've come to believe something that isn't written in textbooks. The body never forgets how to heal, even when we grow tired, even when we lose faith, even when we call it aging. Deep inside, there's a quiet intelligence, patiently waiting for us to listen again. And sometimes all it takes is color. The Rainbow Protocol isn't about restriction or perfection or fear. It's about remembering the sacred partnership between you and nature. It's about seeing food not as fuel, but as conversation, a language of light, pigment, and purpose that speaks directly to your cells. The color red calls you to strength, the pulse of vitality that still beats in your chest. Orange whispers renewal, the faith that it's never too late to begin again. Blue and green bring peace, the gentle assurance that life still flows, even in the quiet corners of your body. I've seen this truth unfold in countless lives. A grandmother who once hid her legs because of swelling now walks barefoot in her garden laughing. A man who feared his heart had grown too weak now climbs hills he once avoided. None of it happened overnight. There were no miracle pills, no complicated programs, just small, colourful acts of care repeated every single day. And here's the part that always humbles me most. As their circulation improved, so did their spirits. They smiled more. They moved with purpose. It's as if the blood flowing through their veins carried not just oxygen, but hope. So, when you sit at your table tonight, I invite you to pause. Look at your plate, not with judgment, but with gratitude. See the colours. The reds, the oranges, the blues, the greens, each one a small prayer from nature to your body. When you eat, you're not just feeding yourself. You're reminding every cell that life still moves, that healing is still possible, that age has not taken your ability to renew. Because a colourful plate is not just a beautiful plate, it's a promise that nature still believes in you. And your body still believes in life.